of these Vestas V82 turbines at a site like Twin Groves will produce enough electricity to meet the average annual needs of about 500 homes. You take that times the 240 turbines that'll be out here, it'll produce enough electricity to meet the needs of about 120,000 homes. To put that in perspective, there's only about 57,000 homes in all of McLean County.
Wind farm in Illinois. They belong in Texas or California. I was amazed that we had enough wind that they would even consider a wind farm here.
Well, we're on the Bloomington Moraine right now, which is a result of the Wisconsin glacial episode. And when the glaciers retreated, they pushed dirt and rock aside that created an elevated area. So it is spread out over 50 square miles at the edge of the Bloomington Moraine, which in the Midwest, you're always looking for sites that are on high ground, because the higher you go, the higher the wind speeds. The higher the wind speeds, the more electricity you produce. So this site is very attractive from that perspective. It's also very attractive because it has numerous high voltage transmission lines that crisscross throughout the project. And that's important because we need to be able to transport the electricity that all the turbines produce onto the grid.
132 feet long, and they weigh 16,600 pounds.
The blade.
Each blade.
Each blade.
The hub is what, 30,000 on top, and you're spinning that.
This is really a good thing for the area to have. There's more people using electricity, more homes being built all the time. There just seems to be a great hunger for electricity. And so I think the wind power is here for us to use, and it's a renewable energy, and I think it's just a wonderful thing.
We have to go to renewable energy. We have to find other ways to run the everyday business besides the fossil fuels.
And the entire project consists of 240 Vestas V82 turbines. We're constructing the project in two different phases. The first phase is complete, and that represents 120 turbines, which you can see off to our right here. The second phase has begun construction, and that is an additional 120 Vestas V82 turbines, and that is essentially everything west of Aerosmith, stretching out almost within a mile of Ford County.
When we were contacted, the man who farms our ground, all of his questions were answered about farming around the wind turbines, and he was very anxious to see how things were going to go, and I think they've gone rather well.
Well, we first held informational dinners and proposed the project to them, and then we started following up with each of them individually out at their homes or wherever it was convenient to sit down with them, explain the project to them, answer questions and concerns they had. And that was about a 6 to 8 month process, meeting with everybody individually. At the end of that 8 months, we had signed up over 130 landowners and some 22,000 acres here on the Moraine. It's not a foreign concept to these farmers. I mean, they grew up, the majority of them grew up with the water pumpers on their property, so they've understood wind power long before most of us have.
So the company was good enough, and they brought land, made a berm for them. The company's been very good to people like that. Yeah, they've tried to please everybody, but there's always somebody that doesn't like them.
Well, some of the objections that people have towards them, I think, is spoiling the landscape, for one, and the red lights, there's quite a few of them now, but they are going to downsize those, so it shouldn't be any big problem.
In phase one, there's 120 turbines. Of those 120 turbines, the FAA required us to light 86 of them. But just recently, the FAA has come out with new guidelines that will allow us to go down to only lighting 25 of those 120 turbines. So we're in the process of right now of decommissioning lights from phase one, and we'll use some of those in phase two. So the issue of the lights, I think, is being addressed pretty quickly.
As far as the noise is concerned, I don't think there are any of them that are real close to a house, and so I've been right up against them, and there's just a swishing noise. So it really doesn't disturb me at all. And I think they're beautiful to have.
We have friends that when she gets up in the morning, she looks out and says that they're her angels flying. That's what she calls them.
People ask me about the noise from the windmills, and I tell them it's no noisier than living next to the road noise going by your house, or we can hear the trains in Ellsworth, and we hear them more than we hear the windmills.
The V82 model takes a wind speed of about 3 to 6 miles an hour to start them spinning. Today is a very light wind day, so you can see they're struggling in these low wind speeds to get going. They'll start producing electricity between 6 and 9 miles an hour, and then they will ramp up their production up to 22 miles an hour. 22 miles an hour, they're at peak production, and will continue to operate at peak production up into wind speeds of about 44 miles an hour. Wind speeds of 44 miles an hour causes too much stress on the turbine itself, so they will rotate out of the wind, feather their blades, and go into a park mode. And in that park mode or brake mode, they can withstand 155 mile an hour straight line winds.
I'm more concerned if I lived by the nuclear plant or something. I just thought this was the safer way to have.
It's not like, you know, your nuclear power or any of that where you gotta take the waste and store it somewhere in the ground or whatever. This stuff, you know, get it from the air. Just, you know, when they get done with it, they can scrap it out and make it into something else.
The life of the windmills is from 20 to 30 years, and I'm sure if they're still producing power and we still need power by then, which I can't foresee that we would not need power then, that they're going to update them and upgrade them, and they'll still be a part of our energy system.
Well, the technology has really advanced in the last 5 years, where we can take advantage of lower wind sites, and also, I mean, it's homegrown, it's clean, and it's a renewable source. And with everything that's going on in the world today, it's just become, you know, with global warming, etc. There's a lot of different factors that are all coming together at one time and making wind very attractive.
I think in future generations, this is the real answer. And we just can't be dependable on oil from other places. And so I think as long as we have wind, why not use it?